Welcome back to Plants Not Plastic. I'm Nikita, and today we're digging into one of the most classic holiday recipes out there, pumpkin pie. I'm not sure I can think of a single Thanksgiving I've been to without a pumpkin pie on the menu. This one, though, has a filling made without milk or eggs, and a gluten-free crust made without any oil that actually surprised me with how freaking good it is. It's one of my prouder recipes because of how simple it is, how delicious it is, and how well it does this classic dish service while still catering to pretty much anyone's diet concerns. Before we get started, I've specifically put on this shirt because it's the only pumpkin patch looking one I own. We're also going to set a counter for how many times I pull on it uncomfortably because it doesn't quite fit. So here's everything you'll need for this recipe. It's all in the description box as well, with a link to the blog post with some good-looking photos and a printable recipe card. We'll start by making our crust. And don't be intimidated. It's pretty easy, I promise. You'll need 1.5 cups of oat flour, which you can simply make yourself by blending rolled oats in a blender. You'll put your oat flour in a medium mixing bowl with almond butter, salt, sugar, and 1/4 cup of water to combine. You can try this with a spoon at first like I did, but you'll end up having to get in there with your hands to knead everything together, so I'd advise that you just get dirty from the beginning. After the first 1/4 cup of water, add an additional 1 to 2 tablespoons at a time until the dough forms into a very slightly sticky ball. I always go for drier rather than wetter dough to prevent it from sticking to my surface when I roll it out. And one of the benefits of having a gluten-free crust without any butter in it is you don't have to worry about overworking it. So you can start dry and add in more moisture as needed. You'll see this in action as we make our way along. Once your nice little dough ball has formed, cover it and put it in the fridge or freezer to chill while we make our filling. Another non-stick oilless hack for you. I roll my dough out on the backside of a chilled cookie sheet to keep my dough cool while I'm working with it. So we'll get that going at the same time. The filling is as simple as throwing everything together in a food processor or blender to combine. Your pumpkin puree, plant milk, cane and brown sugar, cornstarch, and pumpkin pie spice mix, cinnamon, ginger, nutmeg, clove, and finishing with salt. You can simply hand mix these ingredients together, but I find processing everything results in a nice, smooth, and even custard. Just make sure to scrape down the sides at the halfway point so it all mingles properly. Also, if you don't have pumpkin puree in your area or you can't order it online, you can either make it yourself, you can use squash or sweet potato in its place. With the filling complete, set it aside and we're back to our dough. Get your rolling pin or bottle of wine, your chilled cookie sheet, your dough, and a kitchen towel underneath everything to prevent it from slipping around. Cover your cookie sheet generously with oat flour and sprinkle a little on top of your ball. Again, doing everything we can to prevent the dough from sticking, and then have a go at it. If you find your dough breaks apart right away, like mine has, set everything aside, re-chill your cookie sheet, and add 1 to 2 more tablespoons of water, working it in and then chilling your dough again for 5 to 10 minutes, repeating as needed until you can successfully roll it out. Since we're working with a more fragile, flaky dough, you'll want to roll it out away from the center, going in a circle rather than simply rolling back and forth. Roll, roll, roll away until you've reached something resembling a circle as large as your pie dish. With your crust successfully rolled out, you can now preheat your oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit before transferring the crust to your pie dish. During the transfer, gently and carefully work the crust up from the cookie sheet around the edges toward the center to prevent it from sticking or tearing. Once you've got it flipped into your dish, press it down gently around the outside and clean up the edges with a knife while using any spare crust to fill in the gaps. Again, a benefit of butterless, glutenless crust means you can squish the dough together as much as you need without messing with its overall integrity. I'll also advise to keep your crust low without much of an edge. This crust shines as a base, but exposed edges are likely to harden and burn rather than get flaky and pleasant sans butter. Add your filling, smooth it out, lick the spatula, and bake for 45 minutes to an hour or until the center barely jiggles. Breathe deep in all its pumpkin-y goodness and let it cool completely before serving. For me, this is overnight, so see you in the morning. This pumpkin pie is exactly what you'd want it to be. A smooth custard filling with a chewy yet flaky crust, a mildly sweet yet refreshing dessert full of your favorite winter flavors. Like taking an actual bite out of the fall season. For how this pie stacks up against an alternative, depending on whether you're comparing it to a non-vegan store-bought or non-vegan homemade pumpkin pie, or a homemade option with vegan substitutes, so things like coconut oil and coconut milk, my recipe costs about as much or less, has 4 to almost 15 times more fiber, and you get to eat about twice as many slices for the same number of calories. So that's it for today's recipe. If you try it out, let me know in the comments. You can also subscribe to my blog for recipes right to your inbox and connect with me on social media for day-to-day content. And don't forget to subscribe, click the bell, give this video a thumbs up, and come back next time. Bye!